We're back to basics. It was just pretty much, you know, some improvements, but basically more of the same. Awful design mistakes have remained. Very stubborn developers, but then Namco, Tekken devs, they're just, you know, their vision for the game is aggression, and it just feels like it is here to stay. It's just not gonna change. Season 2 was garbage, and Season 3 basically doubles down on their worst impulses. We are where we are, and it just feels kind of crap, you know. Being a Tekken fan, wish the devs would listen a little bit more, but that's what's so amazing about Dead by Daylight, which is the game you're seeing on the screen here, a game that I played since 2021. I actually stopped playing it because I also felt there that they had like the worst devs of all time. With every patch, every update, it just felt like the game got fucking worse all the time. Eventually, I found it so abysmally unplayable, so horribly unfun. I never had fun even for a second playing it, but I was like, why am I even playing this game? It's never fun. It only brings me negative vibes. So I just flushed the game, uninstalled, stopped playing it. And that was quite a long...
That sounds very familiar to my perspective on Tekken 8, where after a while, I'm like, you know something? Fuck this fucking game. But because I have a deep-seated, I would say, passion for the franchise as a whole, not Tekken 8, I wanted to see Tekken change. And I persisted.
Long time ago. And the game has, you know, let's just say just like Tekken, but even worse in DBD, balancing problems. You're watching Blight here, who is the strongest killer in the game. Killer has to, you know, everyone spawns on the same map. Killer and 4 survivors. You see them to the left there. Survivors have to fix 5 generators scattered across the map. If they do that, they're allowed to leave the map and win and survive. Killer has to kill them before they do so. That's how the killer wins. And no one has been better than this on Blight due to his absurd mobility. He is basically Sonic the Hedgehog. He taps his heels or snaps his fingers and he goes from one corner of a map to the other, slaps survivors on the head. There's almost nothing they can fucking do. He is basically martial law. But where Tekken 8 developers buffed martial law, the devs of Dead by Daylight behavior, they actually now, they're gonna nerf Blight. They have been stubborn.
They have decided this is what they did. They decide without me even know, despite me even knowing what the fuck this game is about, I can tell you right now that many people have more than likely complained about that character that he's talking about. Otherwise, developers wouldn't have fucking really known. And the developers of that game decided to take decisive action. That's the difference. When it comes to the Tekken 8 developers, they have a very specific mandate. And this is why I say Main Man doesn't understand this, with respect to him. Main Man is a very good Tekken player. He's a very good content creator, but he does not understand the power and influence that he has. He does not. Many people within the Tekken community, they know who Main Man Sui is. Regardless of whether or not you like him, you agree with him, you fucks with him, you don't fucks with him, at the end of the day, you know who the fuck Main Man is. He's been around as long as I have in the fucking scene, but he's more known than I am because I've known him way back during the Tekken Zaibatsu days when he was making fucking Kazuya and Devil combo videos. So he has a level of influence that I don't think he fully realizes. If somebody like Main Man were to literally go and devote his time, I don't mean a little bit, I mean 100% on maybe Dead by Daylight, Street Fighter 6, Virtua Fighter. That would be interesting to see Main Man try Virtua Fighter. That would be fucking interesting. Whatever that is. And eventually the other content creators will follow suit. In fact, let's look at this. I want to show you something real. So Joka, he ends up making a video where he's reacting to Main Man's opinion. This is when you know you have significant power. When you, if I'm being honest, I don't see Main Man react to many other people's videos. I don't see it that often, but I do see a lot more people react to his videos that's when you know you have more of like the community views your opinion in higher regard.
Going la 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 la, not listening to their community. But with a live stream they did a few days ago, they made it pretty clear that they are actually now taking significant player feedback into account. They are actually now consulting the best players and going like, what can we do to make this
look at that. Look at that. You know what's funny about that? Of course I have to chime this in so he probably doesn't copyright strike my shit. How many times have I said that the Tekken 8 developers, they have little to no experience in balancing their own games, and they need to go and seek out community level players, elite or mid-level players that the community trusts and respects to have access to their upcoming patches before they go live, so the community of players can basically break it on purpose so that the developers can fix certain shit right then and there on the fly before they hit live for the update. How many times have I fucking said that shit? I've even used Virtua Fighter as an example, because even back during Virtua Fighter 4 Evo, Sega actually utilized several of the top players for Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution. I don't know if they've done it for Virtua Fighter 5 or not, but I know for VF4 Evo, they definitely did that. Like, so that's why, you know, I understand, like I said, I understand that I'm a very tiny channel. I get it. But these are the moments where I fucking wish I had this. I wish I had that influence. I wish I was a fucking 300,000 fucking sub channel, at least for this moment. Because I would be raising fucking hell every fucking day. I would be doing a crusade for this shit. But unfortunately, it would feel like I don't know. So, anyway, let me get back to Mr. Main Man and him basically echoing my statements. Of course, he doesn't know he's echoing my statements, but I just like that he's doing it now.
No fear for everyone. For those of you playing Killer and for those of you playing Survivor, be opposing teams. It was so nice to hear that. And it just sounded like what I would want to hear from Bandai Namco. But it would be nice to have a voice and face again of a company that talks about the vision going forward. So I thought this was pretty inspiring.
This right here, what did he just say? Let's listen to what he just said again.
A voice and face again of a company.
No.
It was so nice to hear that. And it just sounded like what I would want to hear from Bandai Namco. But it would be nice to have a voice and face again of a company that talks about the vision going forward. So I thought this was pretty.
So, Mr. Main Man, I'm going to address you real quick, just for shits and giggles, even though it's probably me talking into the fucking void. You, sir, you do not recognize the power that you have. You're saying that you wish that they would talk to you? Then make them talk to you. Use the fucking influence that you have. You are over a 300,000 subbed channel, not including your presence on fucking Twitch. You know other top level channels. You know ShinBlade. You know a little Majin. You know of all these. You know of Knee. You know JDCR. You know Ulsan. You know all these people. Organize. Assemble on some Avengers shit. Whatever the fuck you got to do. Because they're not going to listen to me. They don't give a fuck about me. You don't even know who I am. But I can assure you we're from the same era. And I've put my time into this franchise competitively and casually. And I know many of North America's best players, but unfortunately, I do not have the influence that you have. You talk about how you want people to talk to you, talk to the community. As I said, make them. Because at this point in time, you and people like you have a deck of cards. You have a hand. You have played your hand. You have one card left. One card. But you don't realize that you have that one card. You don't realize that you, Mr. Main Man Swee, Mr. Lil Majin, Mr. Fitty X, Mr. any one of you top larger fucking YouTuber channels out there, you don't realize that these are the cards, the Spaghetti Rips, the fucking, who else? Whoever else anybody wants to insert into treated like fucking children. They are doing the bare minimum to keep you people pacified. Because at the end of the day, they are hedging the fact, the reality that many of you people are going to play this game no matter what. Doesn't matter what the fuck you guys say. And that, honestly, that makes you guys fucking hypocrites. Period. And until you are willing to make that sacrifice, that's what you guys are to me. You guys are willing to basically sell out just for some ad revenue. And you're in this position because these people on YouTube and Twitch even follow and watch your shit. This is why you have the growth you have. This is why you can afford the little life that you have, because of people that tune in to watch your shit on YouTube and Twitch. That's how it works. Whatever brand deals you guys have, whatever fucking opportunities you have, it all started by people coming to your channel and watching you play the fucking game. Do you deny it? Am I lying? Do I have your attention? I will say right now, while you guys have much more influence than me, you guys cannot fuck with me when it comes to my knowledge of this franchise and what actually needs to be done to get this game back in order. But unfortunately, I don't have that power. You guys do. So what I am trying to do is I'm trying to educate you guys on how to move forward. Are you going to listen? Are you going to be like, oh, he's just a guy in a red hat? This guy in a red hat is well aware of who Nee is. This guy in a red hat represented my fucking character in a way where hardly nobody else did. This guy in a red hat paid his fucking dues on the competitive scene. I know what the fuck I'm talking about. And unfortunately, I didn't start this YouTube shit early enough to amass the type of following that you guys have. I didn't. That's on me. I'll own that. But I have a knowledge that many content creators, many of my peers simply do not have. They do not have at all. And that's fine. Not everybody needs to know what I know. And that's fine. But when it comes to Tekken 8, you guys have to act. Because all of this talk of, I want people to talk, you got to make them talk to you. You have to make that. You have to literally create the conversation. You have to force it at this point. Otherwise, it's just going to be you spinning your wheels in the wrong direction. And I can guarantee you, I 1,000,000,000% can tell you that Tekken 9 will offer you no respite. It will be the same fuckery, even worse. You think things are bad now? Wait till Namco adds those stupid guest characters. Just wait. I wouldn't even be surprised they add motherfucking Goku into this bitch, and you're gonna see fucking Goku when he's in heat. He's gonna turn fucking Ultra Instinct and blast you from across the screen with a Kamehameha wave. Think it's funny? Think it's funny, huh? Look what you can do with Jun Kazama right now. Look at what they added in Clive. Look what they added with Noctis in Tekken 7. They added Goki from Akuma from Street Fighter. These are characters that are from entirely different IPs, different franchises. Goku is under Namco Bandai. So while you might laugh at this, within Namco Bandai, Dragon Ball is like right down the hall. Think about that.
Inspiring.
We have a very important black main as one of our consultants who has been involved in the process and will be continued to be involved in whatever happens in the future with Blight, and that's been super handy actually because
been usually helpful.
Yeah.
It is super handy and helpful having some of the top players on a specific character consulting us on the balance of that character right now and going forward. It is going to be an ongoing partnership, teamwork, collaboration. Isn't that a very good idea? Having the best players involved and at least consulting them, because they are the ones that understand these characters and their balance the best. And it's so cool also and wholesome that the best Blight players like Momo Seventh and Lilith Omen, they've been very vocal in that they think the character should be nerfed. And their exact criticism of a character and their suggestions for the character, the nerfs, are exactly what is being implemented. The devs are actually listening to the best players. I don't know, I'm just like, it's so fascinating to see that, and it's so cool to hear it from the developers. We've taken your feedback, we're going to do exactly what the best players are saying, and we're going to have an ongoing collaboration with them.
Mr. Mainman, allow me to educate you further on the reasons why this is. The reason why is because not all developers are created equal, sir. You have some developers that are under the thumb of certain publishers, right? So the publisher, I'm assuming you understand the dynamics between the publisher and the developer. For instance, if you may or may not be aware, there is a game called, and I used this example before, Mass Effect. Mass Effect is a game that is developed by BioWare. However, BioWare was bought by Electronic Arts. So basically, if BioWare wants to create a specific style of game, they have to clear it with the publisher. If they are creating a game that is going to be however way it's going to be, the publisher can actually dictate to the developer to make certain changes within that game, altering that game's original vision and identity. So the nature between publisher and developer is a very interesting one. Now, not all relationships work this way. Sometimes you might have a publisher that will say, you know something, do whatever you need to do to make sure that this game falls in line with its respective community so it can continue to make money and grow year over year. That is what we care about. When it comes to Tekken 8, sir, the problem here is that Namco Bandai, they largely have a pretty hands-off approach, which is kind of good in some cases. However, the Tekken 8 developers, which I'm pretty sure you are aware of, Mr. Main Man, and anybody else that is up on your level, Harada and such and company, they have stated from the very beginning with Tekken 8 in terms of its earliest interviews before the game was even being played, that this game was going to be very aggressive in nature, which we already know kind of goes away from what we've come to understand from Tekken, because like you, Mr. Main Man, I've been playing this game since I've been 14 years old. I am 45 currently. So what ends up happening here is this. The Namco developers, or the Tekken Project, I think that's what they call themselves, the Tekken Project team, they had a premeditated, predetermined plan to open up Tekken 8 to a wider audience. We have seen this across different genres, different games. You can look to Street Fighter. You can even look to other, even certain Souls-like games, certain games that have a rooted identity and difficulty. You have seen conversation and even certain changes to make those games easier. The point being that changes are being made to increase their total addressable market. This is a key marketing term that I want you to understand. This goes beyond the fucking Doria and mashing buttons. They don't give a fuck about that. They're looking to expand their market. And in doing so, from a competitive fighting game standpoint, they do not need people being potentially gatekept behind skill required. This is why Tekken 8 was developed in such a way to where legacy, or should I say identity, has been pushed to the fucking wayside. Because I can tell you this much for right now, as I address you, any significant Tekken player right now, no B-roll, no fancy shit, no fancy editing, just me. What I'm telling you right now, back in my time, from Law specifically, we had RIP, we had several other law players over the years. And when I would go to tournaments, you would see player expression. You can literally look how somebody is playing that particular character, and you can pretty much say, oh, that's so-and-so's law, or that's so-and-so's law, or that's so-and-so. Because you would see that the players have different identities, different things that they would do with the character. In Tekken 8, it's all hollow, it's all plastic, it's all the same bullshit, it's all the same fucking nonsense. Am I wrong? Because I can tell you back in my time, just using myself, because I know how much I know how much you dislike Lei Wulong, but but I was a Lei main. And I can tell you that in the United States, I was the top Lei player. And the only other Lei players that could rival me was a player that you are aware of named Sukin User over in California. Everybody else I'd fucking wash. I would probably give an honorable mention to Leet Vanit over in Texas. Every other Lei player I'd fucking destroy in my country. I can't speak about UK. I've heard about a player named Icon or Ivorio. I think he's French. I always wanted a chance to play against him, but obviously I wasn't traveling as much as many other people. But either way, that's neither here nor there. The point that I'm saying is, if you watch how I play Lei and you watch how Sukin User plays Lei, we're two different players. That's my point, is that you have different players playing the same character, but they're going about it in a different way. In Tekken 8, that level of player expression is gone. It's been Thanos snapped. And it was done like that on purpose. That is what people like yourself, with respect, you guys need to come to understand and accept. That it's not going to change, it is not going to get better, and they don't give a flying fuck what you have to say about it. They are doing They are doing and have done the bare minimum to placate you, to pacify the community, just so that the community can't say, or the developers can't say, well, you can't say we didn't try. This is why I used the example earlier on in my stream. I said, like, look, if you ask somebody for $5 and you need $5, whatever, you know, I need this. And the person turns around and gives you $1. They give you $1 fucking dollar. You'd be like, I really desperately needed $5. You know what that person will tell you? You can't say I didn't help you. You can't say I didn't give you $1. It's the premise that a lot of you content creators and streamers don't understand. And it goes right back to the amount of power that you people have and you're not using it. I don't know if maybe you are aware of this. I don't know if you're feigning ignorance. I don't know, because I don't know you personally, or any of you larger kind of the Fitty X, or any of you motherfuckers out here. I don't know. But what I do know is that in order for Tekken 8 to change in a meaningful way, you guys are going to have to collectively put your fucking foot down. And it is going to demand a bit of sacrifice. Yes. You may lose a few subscribers. You may lose a few followers on Twitch. Yes, it might happen. But you guys are a great piece of the puzzle / solution to get this game back in line with how many people want to see it. And it's likely not going to happen without this. Because as I said, whatever little changes does happen, those changes are in place psychologically so that it's the bare minimum. I hope people understand this. I do. Anyway, let's continue on.
And also, I loved the wording here, especially as a disgruntled Tekken fan of this developer. You will hear what he has to say.
I'm going to say before I get into the details of this pass is this is step 1 of 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We want to tune some base kit things down. So when we do a little bit more of a rework later, the rework is not just nerfs. The rework is, you know, depending on where he settles, maybe it's a bit up, maybe it's a bit lateral, but an improvement to the experience playing with and playing against Blade.
I find this to be so amazing to hear from a developer on a competitive game. We are doing this collaboration with the players. We are going to nerf Blight now. That's going to be step 1, and you've seen the nerfs. These are the requested nerfs by these players. But step 2 is going to be looking at the character yet again and doing
monitoring.
A little bit of a rework.
Yes,
that's probably
monitoring.
not going to affect his placing.
That's what it is. Basically, is you're looking to see how those changes, monitoring these changes over a period of time to see if there's any situations where this character, maybe there's some unforeseen situations that happen as a result of the character being altered. That is what he's getting at, and I am 100% on board with that. Unfortunately, this is from a developer that actually cares about their particular franchise in that way. They care about the outlook and the reception and perception of the actual community to which they are playing. Another company that has done this, Mr. Main Man and FiddyX or whoever, any one of you else that's out there, is a game called Lords of the Fallen. If you look up at a game like that, this is a game from CI Games that has done over 60 updates to that game, and many, if not all of them, have been free. If you look at, and I mentioned this with the game called Mass Effect, developers took a lot of backlash many years ago, and they decided to go back into the source code of the game and completely rework the ending of that franchise. If you want something more recent, which I'm sure that you are aware, look at the 2.0 update from Guilty Gear Strive. That is a game that is 5 fucking years old. And that developer decided to remove an entire mechanic from the game. So looking at the effort that is placed in, that is brought forward, regardless of whether or not the thing is a success or what have you, it's the fact that the effort or it was done. This is, in each of those examples, that is far more than what has been going on with Tekken 8. And another reason is that the Tekken 8 developers, they already have their mission for Tekken 8. It doesn't matter what the hardcore market, and that's another thing I want to tell you, is that all of us represent the hardcore market. All of us represent the hardcore market. And typically in business, the hardcore market is generally the smallest market. In fact, you know something, Mr. Main Man? Since don't take my word for it, let's do some basic internet search. Okay, in business, which market, and the thing is, I might be proven wrong literally in live stream. So let's see. And if I am, it is what it is, but they both play a role. Which market between casual versus hardcore are the larger market? So we do search. Hopefully I worded the question in a proper way. Here you go. Hopefully you guys can be educated and read this. I'm not making this up. You know what? I'll read it just for the sake. Casual users, players engaging with games for short, frequent sessions without deep commitment. They prioritize fun, accessibility, and low time investment. Yes. Isn't that not what I said? Isn't that what fucking Tekken 8 has become? Tekken 8 has become fun, accessible, or dumbed down, but in corporate game terminology, they use the word accessible. You know how many times I've heard the word accessible in gaming? You're just seeing it right here on the fucking screen. Hopefully you guys are seeing this. So I'm not bullshit. I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I show and prove my shit. I wish many of my peers would follow suit. Because everybody can doom scroll TikTok and Instagram, but many people don't do the necessary research. It's right here. It's right here. This is the facts. Hardcore users, players dedicated to complex, immersive, and often competitive games. They invest significant time and money and favor high-skill gameplay. In fact, this whole part right here, this is all that really matters, really, if you really be honest. This is it. This is it. That's all. That's all, folks. That's it. That is what it is. See, the thing is, when you read this last sentence of the hardcore players dedicated to complex immersive, do you know, by definition, do you know what complex, do you know what the equivalent of complex is? What, how can I put this? If you have something complex, that means it's going to take you time to learn it and understand it. Complex is the opposite of accessibility. It's literally a polar opposite. So when you have something that's complex, which is what people would argue and say that's what Tekken used to be, well, that means that there's a lot of players that will be like, you know what? That's not something we really want to do. We don't want to invest that amount of time. We want frequent, easy sessions where we don't have to think that hard. Because if we're not winning, we're not having fun. So that's why when you break this down, that definition, it's right there in plain English. Now, if we move forward more to the actual analytics, casual games dominate downloads and user count, for example. Casual games account for 78% of all mobile game downloads. Casual game revenues are also substantial, primarily through ads and microtransactions. Look at that. Though hardcore players often spend more individually. In the U.S. market, 2022 data, 68.6% of revenue came from casual and mobile games, whereas traditional console and PC-focused hardcore games accounted for only 27.6%. Oh my God, good God, will these people do some fucking research? Yo, real talk. I'm gonna film every single person that's in this live stream right now. You should be, every single last one of you should be fucking subscribed to my fucking YouTube channel. Fuck that. Fuck that. Help me out. Because I know a lot of you guys are fucking, loving the fucking main man shit. I'm doing the real work right here. This is the fucking real work right here. The fuck? 27.6%. Unfucking real. So think about it this way. Let me break it down. So when a game, if you have a game that's costing you $150 million to make, not only make the game, but also you have to market the game, you have to distribute the game, you have to do all those things. And the hardcore market is indicative of 27.1 or 0.6%. Are you really going to make a game that's specifically targeting the hardcore market when it's not even representing 30% of the market? Are you going to do that? Or are you instead going to go the casual route, which makes up the other part, which would 27, what was that, 60 something percent? I think you would go to the casual market. I think so. I kind of think so. So it's just funny to me. All of these things I have said, I've sat in this hard ass fucking chair for fucking hours, month after month after month. I have broken down why Microsoft does what they do. I've broken down what's going on with PlayStation. I've broken down what's going on with the AI chip shortage. I've broken down why Game Pass increased by $10. I've really broken down so much shit on my channel. And I appreciate the very few people that decide to support me and subscribe and maybe even follow me over on Twitch. I appreciate that. But it becomes very annoying and frustrating when I see many of my peers who have fucking 20 times the fucking viewership that I have, but yet and still don't know their fucking ass from a hole in a wall. And I'm like, these people have access to the same tools that I have. I'm showing this on the screen right here. This is not my opinion. This is what it is. And reading in between the lines, this may provide a reason to answer your question, why are games more easy? Why are games more accessible? There is your answer right there in black and white. So that is why, despite you guys, the community saying, hey, why is this character broken? Why is this character this? Why is this character that? Well, those of you that's asking for that, you represent the 27.6%. So Namco is going to buy, they're going to just do the bare minimum just to pacify you. And until you utilize your influence in the proper way to gain their attention, they are not going to come to the table and bargain with you. In fact, speaking of bargain, do you remember? Hold on. Oh, you're going to love this. Now, I know I'm probably going to get copyrighted for this. I'm probably am. But you know what? Fuck it. Hold on. You're going to love this one.
Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
You've come to die. Your world is now my world. Take our world.
And yes, Dormammu represents the Tekken 8 developers. For those of you that actually might be wondering this, that's basically what what's his name is. Thanks for everybody that's actually fucking subscribing. Thank you, I appreciate that. But yeah, that is exactly that's what's happening here. Dormammu is the Tekken developers right here.
Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
You've come to die. Your world is now my world. What is this?
I had Dormammu mind fucked. So basically, because I already know how this is going to be copyright, I already know I'm probably going to have to cut this part out because you know how fucking these people are. But that's my point, is that you as the community, you guys, the main mans, the 50Xs, everybody that you feel that are of note in this community, you guys are going to have to be on some Doctor Strange shit, and you're going to have to force the exchange. You're going to have to force that fucking conversation, because the Tekken developers are literally looking at you as like, just get the fuck out and die. Boom, done. You're going to have to make the fucking sacrifice. I'm not Doctor Strange. I am just a tiny fucking YouTuber. Many people don't even give two flying fucks what I have to say, but they do care what you have to say. You just have to put it out there, and however way you have to do it, whatever. I don't think it would take long, honestly, because if enough people band together, the more people that are on board, I believe the faster this can get done. Strength in numbers. I'm pretty sure everybody understands that term. So while this scene, you know, you know what I wish? I wish some of you technologically sound people would literally take this scene and you know, when you have those memes on the internet where you would put Tekken 8 over Dormammu and put or maybe you'll put the picture of what's his name, Nakatsu, as Dormammu, and put the Tekken community, like, you know, label over Doctor Strange, and upload that shit, and I guarantee you'll have like 1 trillion fucking views. Like, because that's exactly what's happening in this particular situation. The Tekken 8 developers is not even acknowledging, they don't give a fuck about the community. But you look at what Doctor Strange is doing, is like, look, you know, He did what he needed to do, and he's forcing that conversation. And in fact, fuck this. Let's go and move forward. Let's move forward. Because I know let me put a stream marker, so I already know I'm gonna have to fucking delete this whole section after the live. But I want to go to the end of this shit. Let me see. What's the end part? Let me see. Let's skip forward. There we go. I think it's this one.
You will never win.
No. But I could lose. Again. And again. And again. And again forever. And that makes you my prisoner.
No. Stop! Make this stop! Set me free!
No. I've come to bargain.
What do you want?
At that precise moment, Nakatsu and his team will be like, what do you want? Now we can have that conversation. Because before you're like, whatever, we'll just fucking hurl a mystic bolt and blow you away. No, now I'm making the sacrifice to make you hear me, to force this conversation. That's what's happening. He's like, I've come to bargain. That's what needs to be done. And even though this is a fucking movie, but there's lessons to be learned here. Sometimes it's whoever is willing to do the most sacrifice. And this is something that the Tekken community, they are able to do, but being able to do something and actually do it are two different things. I have the humility in this regard to admit that I do not have the power or the influence over the Tekken community to make that particular stand happen. I do not. I don't have it. But many of you, the main mans, the little Fitty X's, and all those other guys out there, the Spaghetti Rips, I guess, whoever else, they collectively have that. What I have over them, 100%, I have my experience. None of those people in the Tekken community can rival me in this arena. None of you. But you guys have the influence I don't have. Whether you guys are willing to make those sacrifices, that's an entirely different matter. You can vote with your wallet, sure. But as a content creator, you can take away your exposure of the particular game, be it content creation or streaming. You can starve them out. Like I said earlier, I think even before I use these examples, you can look and say, what is Main Man doing? He's playing Resident Evil. What's K-Wiz doing? He's playing fucking Street Fighter. What's ShinBlade doing? He's playing Fatal Fury. Who's left? Oh, what's Arslan Ash doing? Oh, he's playing Fatal Fury. What's Nee doing? Oh, he's actually having a stream with Daigo. Like, so nobody is playing Tekken? Like what is this? When did this happen? Well, Nakatsu-san, this happened over the weekend. So none of our content creators or streamers none of them are playing Tekken? How long has this been going on? For about 2 days. What's the current player count of Tekken right now? We're at 1,000. 1,000? We have only 1,000 active players playing Tekken 8? Yes, Nakatsu-san. What do you want to do? Issue a formal statement on our social media and personally reach out to each and one of those content creators. We need to have a discussion. That is power. That is how you change this situation.